There is an absolutely shocking wave rippling through the NFL universe today, and it is one of those moments that fans will remember for years as a true turning point in league history. Because reports emerging from ESPN suggest that the Chicago Bears, a team long searching for a definitive spark to ignite their roster, have reportedly secured the signatures of two monumental stars, Myles Garrett and Terry McLaurin, a pairing that nobody saw coming, but that instantly reshapes the dynamics of the NFC and could potentially redefine what it means to compete in the modern era of professional football. The idea of Garrett, a defensive juggernaut whose presence alone commands attention from any opposing offensive line, teaming up with McLaurin, a wide receiver whose agility and explosive route running have turned him into one of the most feared playmakers in the league, is the kind of headline that makes analysts pause mid-sentence, that makes fans hold their breath, and that makes rival teams start recalculating everything from draft strategies to free agent targets, because the Bears, historically a team defined by resilience rather than star-studded dominance, might have just flipped the narrative entirely, throwing the entire conference into a state of heightened tension and anticipation that could last all season long, as every game they play will now carry the weight of curiosity and speculation. And every defensive coordinator will be forced to imagine how to slow down Garrett's relentless pressure while simultaneously preparing for McLaurin's sudden bursts of brilliance, creating a scenario where expectations skyrocket and skepticism mingles with hope, and the conversation around the Bears is suddenly dominated by questions of potential rather than history, as everyone wonders if this bold move signals the beginning of a new era or just another high-profile gamble in a league where fortunes change faster than any analyst can predict. The speculation around Myles Garrett joining the Bears is staggering, given that his reputation as a defensive end capable of completely altering the course of a game is well-earned, and imagining him lining up in a Chicago uniform triggers a cascade of what-if scenarios that analysts, fans, and casual observers alike cannot stop discussing, because Garrett's ability to collapse pockets, dominate one-on-one matchups, and consistently pressure quarterbacks could be the missing ingredient in a Bears defense that has often struggled to assert itself against elite offenses, and pairing him with Terry McLaurin, whose route precision and explosive speed create matchup nightmares for defensive backs across the league, generates a dual-threat narrative that instantly fuels endless debate on social media, talk shows, and inside NFL circles, as pundits scramble to quantify the immediate and long-term impact of such a pairing, and fans start to dream of highlight reels featuring Garrett's relentless sacks followed by McLaurin's jaw-dropping receptions, painting a picture of a team that is suddenly capable of both intimidating and thrilling opponents week after week, making every upcoming game feel like an event where outcomes are less predictable and expectations are sky-high, because the combination of these two talents, if fully realized, could push the Bears into a competitive space they have not consistently inhabited for decades, making questions of cohesion, coaching, strategy, and locker room chemistry the focal point of the season, as observers wonder whether these stars can not only coexist but thrive, whether their presence can ignite a culture shift within the team, and whether the Bears have managed to execute a masterstroke that transforms speculation into tangible, on-field dominance in a way few would have dared to predict just weeks ago, creating a whirlwind of excitement, hope, and endless rumor-fueled conversation that is dominating NFL discourse. The presence of Myles Garrett on a team that has often been criticized for defensive inconsistency is, in itself, a seismic development, and adding Terry McLaurin to the mix only multiplies the shock value exponentially, because McLaurin's arrival implies that the Bears are not simply trying to patch weaknesses, but rather aggressively reshaping their offensive blueprint to complement a reinvigorated defensive core. And this raises an array of tantalizing questions, from how the coaching staff will integrate two such high-profile players into existing schemes to how other stars in the league might respond, as rival teams immediately begin evaluating potential counters to a lineup suddenly armed with what could be considered generational talent at both ends of the spectrum, making the ripple effects across the league enormous, as fantasy football managers, casual fans, and analysts alike speculate on the statistical explosions and highlight moments that could result from this duo. Operating at full capacity, while commentators dissect potential challenges in chemistry, play calling, and locker room dynamics, imagining scenarios where Garrett's intensity drives everyone to elevate their performance, or where McLaurin's unmatched speed opens previously impossible windows for big plays, all contributing to a narrative that is at once thrilling and terrifying for opposing teams. Because in theory, the Bears now possess both the defensive muscle to disrupt game plans and the offensive versatility to create explosive scoring opportunities, transforming what was once a team defined by mediocrity and rebuilding efforts into a franchise that could suddenly be considered a legitimate contender in every conversation, igniting debates that span the spectrum from who will emerge as the true leader of the team to whether this bold move represents a trend in roster construction where high-impact, star-driven strategies dominate the league, creating a dramatic storyline that will fuel sports media, podcasts, and fan forums for months, as each new practice, press conference, and snap taken by Garrett and McLaurin is analyzed with feverish intensity, and the rumor mill spins ever faster with speculation about additional signings, trades, and strategic moves that could complement this audacious pairing. Terry McLaurin's reported signing with the Bears is equally electrifying, given that his skill set perfectly complements the kind of offensive identity the team may now be considering. And fans are already imagining what it looks like when his crisp routes, sharp cuts, and explosive acceleration intersect with a quarterback empowered to take risks in pursuit of big plays, creating a scenario where every game becomes a potential highlight reel, while analysts consider the implications for the Bears' overall offensive balance, roster depth, and long-term planning. Because acquiring a player of McLaurin's caliber signals intent, ambition, and a willingness to invest in proven talent rather than relying solely on potential. And this raises questions about how the team's salary cap management, draft strategy, and coaching philosophy may evolve to accommodate these high-profile talents. As speculation about the chemistry between Garrett's relentless defensive pressure and McLaurin's ability to stretch the field fuels endless debate, imagining a team that could dominate opponents in both phases simultaneously, challenging the league's power dynamics, and forcing other franchises to consider whether their current approaches remain viable in the face of such aggressive moves, while fans debate how the existing roster will adapt, which positions may be upgraded or sacrificed, and whether the Bears have the coaching vision necessary to turn star power into consistent on-field results, generating a rumor-laden atmosphere in which every media outlet, social feed, and podcast becomes a forum for projecting outcomes, drafting scenarios, and imagining the headlines that will inevitably follow if this pairing begins to function as hoped, fueling excitement, skepticism, and intense speculation that could define the narrative around the Bears for an entire season. While analysts continue to weigh every potential matchup, imagining how McLaurin's elusiveness could counteract some of the league's top defensive strategies, and how Garrett's relentless pursuit of quarterbacks might shift the momentum of games, all while fans debate whether this is the dawn of a new era or simply an ambitious gamble that carries both incredible upside and inherent risk, creating a storyline as complex and captivating as the game itself. The broader implications of the Bears' rumored signings extend far beyond the team itself, as the ripple effects of bringing in two marquee players could alter the entire landscape of NFC competition, prompting rival franchises to reassess their approaches, reallocate resources, and reconsider long-term strategies. While media speculation intensifies around how other teams may respond in upcoming free agency cycles, trades, or draft decisions, imagining a domino effect that shifts the balance of power in unexpected ways. Because if Garrett and McLaurin indeed thrive in Chicago, the team could not only compete at a high level, but redefine what it means to be an elite squad, blending defensive dominance with offensive explosiveness in a manner that few have successfully executed in recent memory, generating endless conversation about team construction, leadership, and the potential for these two stars to influence not just games, but entire seasons, making the Bears a focal point of rumor and speculation across all media platforms, as fans and analysts alike predict breakout performances, dynamic partnerships, and memorable moments that could become part of NFL lore, while simultaneously questioning how these additions might affect team chemistry, coaching decisions, and the development of younger players, creating a narrative that balances optimism and caution, excitement and doubt. As the league collectively braces to see whether this rumored alignment of talent will translate into tangible success. While every preseason discussion, media appearance, and game broadcast carries a shadow of this speculation, and every opponent must consider how to counter the newfound strengths of a team suddenly infused with both explosive offensive talent and defensive intimidation, turning what could have been a typical offseason into a compelling saga of rumor, strategy, and anticipation that dominates football discourse across the board. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. As the speculation intensifies, social media is ablaze with theories about how Garrett and McLaurin will transform the Bears' identity, with fans dissecting every possible formation, snap count, and play design that could leverage their unique talents, while analysts weigh the historical implications of adding two players of such caliber to a single roster, debating whether this could be a template for other franchises seeking rapid transformation, because the potential of pairing a defensive juggernaut with an offensive maestro conjures visions of a team capable of dictating games in multiple dimensions, creating narratives that intertwine performance metrics, leadership dynamics, and hypothetical matchups, while also raising questions about durability, adaptation, and the psychological impact of high-profile acquisitions on both veterans and younger talent. As the Bears navigate expectations that have shifted from incremental improvement to championship contention, fueling rumors about additional moves designed to complement this high-powered duo, and prompting speculation about how coaches will balance schemes, rotations, and play calling to maximize impact without sacrificing cohesion, making every practice, press conference, and rumor headline a critical data point in evaluating the unfolding story, while fans imagine highlight plays, clutch moments, and defining victories that could emerge from this historic realignment, creating a persistent dialogue that merges fantasy and reality, projection and anticipation, as the league collectively watches to see whether this rumored pairing becomes an unstoppable force, a cultural shift within the organization, and a dramatic narrative that dominates NFL conversation for months, generating excitement, debate, and endless speculation. As the Bears stand at the center of a story that could redefine the franchise and potentially change the trajectory of professional football in ways that ripple far beyond the field. Finally, the sheer audacity of these rumored acquisitions sparks conversations not just about talent, but about vision, ambition, and the evolving philosophy of roster construction in the NFL. Because the potential combination of Myles Garrett's defensive dominance and Terry McLaurin's offensive explosiveness represents more than skill. It symbolizes an intentional strategy to create a team capable of influencing games on multiple levels, prompting speculation about how this will affect draft strategy, coaching hires, and even league-wide trends, as franchises consider whether star-focused strategies could redefine competitive balance, while fans and media alike debate the likelihood of success, imagining how Garrett's relentless pursuit of disruption complements McLaurin's ability to stretch defenses and create opportunities, making every scenario imaginable. From early season highlight reels to playoff-defining performances, part of a continuous conversation that blends rumor, hope, and speculation, and keeping the Bears at the forefront of NFL discourse as each passing day adds layers to the unfolding narrative, feeding social media threads, sports shows, and fan forums with endless possibilities, and generating a sense of anticipation, curiosity, and excitement that rivals even the most dramatic storylines in sports history, as the rumor of these signings becomes a lens through which the league, the fans, and the media explore questions of talent, chemistry, leadership, and strategy, creating a story that is not only about two players joining a team, but about the potential rebirth of a franchise, the recalibration of a conference, and the magnetic pull of speculation that keeps everyone talking, debating, and imagining what comes next as the Bears stand poised at the center of what could be one of the most electrifying chapters in modern NFL history. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.